Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Jackie from PIMS Balance. I'd like to share a message of support for those facing challenges during the holiday season. The holiday season is often seen as a time of joy and celebration, but we understand that it can also be a challenging period for many people. If you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or any other difficulties, please know that you are not alone. At Pim's Balance Talk Soups podcasts, Mental Health Monday, Midweek Boost, and Sunday Boost, we are always mindful of those who may not be in the festive spirit. Your feelings are valid and your well being is important to us. We want to offer a message of support and encouragement. It's okay to seek help and to take time for yourself, whether it's through talking to a trusted friend, seeking professional support, or finding solace in quiet moments. Your mental health matters. And remember that it's perfectly acceptable to set boundaries, to say no, and to prioritize your needs. The true spirit of the holidays lies in kindness, compassion, and understanding, and that includes being kind to yourself. If you ever need a listening ear or a bit of encouragement, we here at PIMS Balance are for you. Our shows and podcasts are dedicated to fostering a supportive community, and we are committed to helping you find the strength and peace you deserve. Stay strong and take care of yourself. You are valued, and your well being is our priority. With warmest regards, the PIMS Balance team. With many tasks, we pause to reconnect with the true spirit of this season and to draw from your endless well of peace and love. Most High, we ask that you guide us to stay centered and focus on what truly matters. Help us to find moments of stillness amid the chaos, to breathe deeply of your grace, and to carry a sense of calm with us in all that we do. Remind us that it is not the grand gestures, but the small, meaningful moments that bring joy and fulfillment. Grant us the wisdom to prioritize our time, the courage to set boundaries, and the strength to say no when it jeopardizes our well being. Let us be a light to those around us, spreading your love, kindness, and generosity. As we gather for today's midweek boost, we invite your Holy Spirit to fill our hearts and our minds, and may your words inspire us, uplift us, and give us the energy to face the remainder of this week with renewed faith and purpose. In your name, we pray. Ashe and Amen. And so let's dive right into stress relieving tips for today's episode. There are four tips that I created that can help us relieve stress. Number one, we want to practice simple breathing exercises whenever you feel tense. Take 5 deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling slowly. This brings calm and centers you even during busy moments. Number two, schedule personal downtime. Balance is key. Set aside short breaks for yourself each day. That's right, each day, not every other day, but every day. Set aside a time for you to take a short break for yourself, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes for a cup of tea, a walk, or quiet reflection. Taking time to recharge is essential for maintaining peace. And let go of unrealistic expectations. Number three, let those unrealistic expectations go and allow yourself to release any ideas of a perfect holiday. This includes giving yourself permission to say no to extra obligations that may be too much for you right now. And number four, create a calming space at home. Designate an area in your home where you can retreat to when you need a break. Surround yourself with calming elements. Think soft, light, and a cozy blanket or a favorite book. I want to give a music shout out to the wonderful artist whose music is sourced from the YouTube music library to help this episode be more inviting. First, I want to give a shout out to Breaking Copyright, non copyrighted music. The track Saphirios Embrace, that's what you hear playing in the background. I also want to give a shout out to www.beatsavenue.com and Deep Instrumental Piece for all of the wonderful tracks that helped me put the show together. Moving right along, today's affirmations, there are three and I'll read them all. Number one, I choose peace over pressure, allowing myself to enjoy the present. I am centered and calm, no matter how busy life becomes. I find moments of peace in each day and nourish my spirit. Today's journal prompts, there are three, I'll read them all. What is one stressor I can let go of this season? Number two, what brings me a true sense of calm and relaxation? And number three, how can I create moments of calm during busy days? Moving right along to listener shout outs. This show would not be as successful as it is without the listeners. Now, everybody may not check a like or everybody may not subscribe, but I do get comments from listeners. And so I want to give a shout out to Shara from Georgia. I want to give a shout out to Thomas in Houston and a shout out to Maria in California. Thank you guys for your comments. And for those of you all who are interested in sending in your comments or your suggestions, please don't hesitate. I'll definitely air them if you would like for me to do so. Moving right along, I have a very calming recipe. And you guys, when I share these recipes, they are recipes that I have tried myself. So I will say that they are tried and true. And today's recipe is a calming recipe. It is titled Lavender and Honey Warm Milk. And so the ingredients are 1 cup of milk, and you can use any kind of milk. My preferred milk is almond milk or oat milk, but whatever your preference is when it comes to milk, 1/2 teaspoon of dried lavender, and 1 teaspoon of honey. And what you're going to do is heat the milk and lavender on top of your stove until it's warm, but don't let it boil. And then you strain the lavender and stir in the honey. I have one of those or several tea strainers that I put the dried tea leaves in, and I can put it over in my cup or in my tea kettle. And then when I'm finished with it, it's easy to dispose of the dried tea leaves. And so after you strain your lavender, you're going to stir in your honey or whatever your preference is for a sweetener. My preferences are honey or stevia, but if you eat sugar, you eat date sugar, whatever your sweetener preference is, you just stir it in. And then the third step after you steep it is to sip slowly, allowing yourself to relax and feel the warmth. This drink can help you unwind at the end of the day. Today's call to action this week, try one stress relieving technique. that resonates with you, whether it's breathing or meditating or doing some yoga, whatever your stress relieving technique may be. You may be a person who likes to just take those walks outside, whatever technique it is. My call to action for you is to try one stress relieving technique that resonates with you. Try it for 5 or 10 minutes and ensure that this routine is bringing you peace so that you won't say no to committing to do it on a regular basis. And feel free to share your experiences with me. I'd love to hear them. And if you don't mind, to share them with our audience. And remember, let's support each other in creating a balanced, peaceful holiday season. And so, you guys, we're about to wrap today's show up. But before I wrap up totally, I'd like to share a moral story with you. The title of today's story is The Starfish and the Little Girl. It's a short moral story, but it has a very enlightening moral. And so the story goes, one early morning, a wise old man was walking along the beach. He noticed a little girl in the distance bending down and picking something up before gently throwing it into the ocean. And as he got closer, he saw that the beach was covered with starfish that had washed ashore during the night. There were thousands of them scattered as far as I could see. The little girl continued to pick up starfish and toss them back into the water one by one. Curious, the old man approached her, and as he got over to her, he asked her, "Why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" The girl looked up at him and replied, "But there are so many starfish on this beach. You can't possibly." Well, let me back up. The little girl looked up at him and replied, "The sun is rising and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them back, they'll die." And then the man smiled kindly and says, "But there are so many starfish on this beach. You can't possibly make a difference." The little girl listened politely, then bent down, picking up another starfish, and threw it back into the ocean. As it landed safely in the water, she turned to the man and said, "I made a difference for that one." This simple yet powerful story teaches us about the impact of small acts of kindness. Often we might feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the problems around us and think that our actions are too small to make a difference. However, like the little girl in the story, we must remember that every act of kindness, no matter how small, can have a significant impact on someone's life or on the life of an animal, like those animal rescuers. I have so much respect for them because there are people who literally will rescue animals from the street. They will take them into their homes if there aren't any rooms in the animal shelters in their cities, and they care for these animals. Actually, I have children that I call the animal whisperers. My son, my youngest son, and my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter, they rescue animals and they take them into their homes and they feed them and they get them up healthy. And if they don't keep them, they'll make sure that they um, gift them to someone who really cares for animals. And so small acts of kindness like this little child. Children are so beautiful. You know, their hearts are so big. They don't have all that ugliness that most adults have, the discrimination, the racism, the violent tendencies. They see out of a beautiful lens where they can love and they want to care and they want to take care of people and animals and the world. And it's just beautiful. I often do a meditation where I just go back in time to when I was that little child. I had no worries and no cares, and I am able to emit all of those emotions that I experienced as a child, the good, joyful emotions. And that actually helps me um, as I go along throughout my day because, hey, things get to be stressful in our lives, whether it's juggling jobs, careers, businesses, family matters. And if we don't take the time to rest, relax, and breathe, then tap into those emotions that are joyful and loving and caring, oftentimes it ends up playing out in our bodies. And some of us can get sick or shut down and get depressed. And so, like this little child in the story, which is very kind, her small act of kindness, um, we too should be willing to perform acts of kindness. This simple yet powerful story teaches us about the impact of small acts of kindness. And often, even though we might feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the problems around us and think that our actions are too small to make differences, however, like the little girl in the story, we must remember that every act of kindness, no matter how small, can have a significant impact on someone else's life. This story also reminds us that we don't have to solve all the world's problems on our own. By focusing on what we can do, helping one person or one animal or one plant or tree at a time, showing kindness and making a positive difference in our immediate surroundings, we contribute to a better world. Small actions, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform our lives and communities. So I challenge you as you go about your day, remember the starfish and the little girl. Don't estimate the power of your actions. Every act of kindness, every smile, every helping hand makes the world a little brighter. You never know how much difference you can make with a simple, compassionate gesture. I hope this story and its message resonates with you. And during this holiday season, that you will take the time out to perform an act of kindness. And here's a quote: Peace is not the absence of chaos, but the presence of calm within. I want to thank you for tuning in today. And as we move through December, remember that finding peace is about choosing calm within the busyness. Next week, we'll explore acts of kindness and how spreading joy can uplift our own spirits. I want to apologize for my doorbell going off um, and making all of that loud ringing, dinging sound while I was sharing some of the uh, today's episode's narrative. But again, you guys, I hope that you are able to find peace this season and choose to be calm within all of this busyness. Next week, join us as we'll be exploring acts of kindness and how spreading joy can uplift our own spirits. Have a peaceful week. Peace and light.